I'm talking about the Google Analytics protocol. Did you know that you can send data to Google Analytics without a user actually visiting your site? For example, when a customer actually buys a product from your business, not just places an order on your website. This way, you can create a system to compare real data. Yes, this is called end-to-end analytics. Today, I'm Evgeny Kolostenko, a Google advertising and analytics expert in Ukraine. So let's break down what the measurement protocol is. The measurement protocol is a special channel or tool that allows you to send data directly to Google Analytics using HTTP requests. The measurement protocol supports two types of requests. These are GET requests and POST requests. GET requests are limited because they are sent through the browser, while POST requests have no such limitations. Therefore, you can send as much information as you need. You might ask, why use such a complicated tool? Why go through all this trouble with sending data and so on? As a practitioner in advertising and analytics, I can explain. For example, a business wants to compare actual expenses with actual revenue, orders in online stores or applications. These are not always actual financial data. Plus, some businesses have a significantly longer decision-making period for their clients. For example, ticket sales for concerts. Usually, the decision-making time is within a day. A person buys a ticket and pays for it immediately. Okay, that's normal. But, for example, if it's a batch sale combines with a price tag of 20 million high revenues, when someone looks at them and only buys these combines the following year in your business, how do you find out which advertising campaign brought this client in? Yes, that's a problem. The protocol helps in such cases to send data while preserving the advertising campaign information to Google Analytics. And you will actually understand where you advertise and how you advertise and exactly where this client came from. And you'll be able to correlate the financial data for this particular deal. Yes, that's exactly how it works. How much you spent on advertising and how much you actually received from these clients. It's quite difficult, but it's possible. So let's dig deeper into the details of how this protocol works. First, it's about how the data is transmitted. As I already mentioned, it is sent using HTTP requests via GET or POST. Second, what parameters are involved? They are transmitted using this protocol. The parameters can be completely different. They depend on how your developers process the user's cookies and also on what data you have in your CRM system. You can transmit them starting from the advertising campaign. You can even transmit the browser resolution as well as financial indicators. That is the contract conclusion that took place in your business. For example, it could be 10 hryvnias or 10 million. Actual data is already being uploaded. Here you can have both page views, events from enhanced e-commerce, and also transactions from Google Analytics. About 8 types are supported, depending on what exactly needs to be transmitted and how to construct the request. You can construct a request using Hit Builder, a special Google tool that allows you to build, test, and verify it. And of course, you can send the data to Google Analytics and see how it is received. 5. Data transmission. You can debug it however you like, either by manually sending each transaction, which is quite complicated and probably no one actually does, or by setting it up on the CRM system side. When your deal is completed, the data is sent to Google Analytics. But the 6th point, which is the main reason for doing all this, is end-to-end analytics. Let's pause here and go into more detail. How do you build end-to-end analytics using the measurement protocol? First, you need to track the first touchpoint or event. Second, next, you save the user's ID, the so-called client ID, which is tracked in Google Analytics, and send it to your CRM system. All data is consolidated by client ID. In Analytics, you can send, if necessary, some intermediate events to Google Analytics about the events performed by this user. For example, they attended a meeting, signed a contract, and so on. And fourth, you send the financial value of working with this client. This could either be a transaction or your event will have a certain value. Accordingly, you will need to build a custom report on the stages of working with these clients. This data can be broken down by each advertising campaign or each traffic source accordingly. You will have comprehensive data on the first touch point, intermediate touchpoints, and the receipt of financial metrics. And accordingly, you can analyze what you spent, what you received, and how effectively your sales department is working. Yes, that's exactly how it works. It's quite complex, but it's possible. There is no ready-made module or solution, but it is possible to do this if, for example, you have a custom website or a CRM system or CRM system developers. This tool is available in Google Analytics. Basically, that's all I wanted to share today about the Google Analytics Measurement Protocol. Today, it was me, Evgeny Kolostenko, a Google advertising expert in Ukraine,